Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a tutorial on this bold, fiery red eye makeup look, and I've used the new Manny Mua and Makeup Geek palette to create it, and I thought this look would be perfect with a mauve toned lip as well. So if you're interested and want to see how to get this look, then please keep watching. So for this tutorial, I've already gotten a head start by applying primer, foundation, as well as filling in my brows. So I'm going to start by priming my lids, and I'm using the MAC 24-Hour Extended Eye Base and applying it to my lids and blending it in using my Sigma P80 Precision Flat Tap Brush. And then I'm going to pick up the star of the show, which is the Makeup Geek and Manny Mua palette, and I'm taking the shade Beaches and Cream and applying it to my crease using windshield wiper motions on my Sigma E40 blending brush. And this is going to help set the primer and help with blending other colors. And then I'm going to pick up the shade Chickadee by Makeup Geek and apply it to my crease, kind of the higher part of my crease, using my Sigma E35 blending brush. And although this shade looks a little scary in the pan, it's actually really pretty for the crease. I feel like it adds a nice warmth to the crease, and it really kind of ties this whole look together. And I'm just using that same windshield wiper motion that I did with the previous shade. Then I'm going to pick up this maple brown shade called Frappe from that same Manny Mua palette, and I'm using a MAC 217 blending brush to apply it. And I'm being more precise, and I'm kind of applying it lower onto my crease to really help define the crease, and this is just going to deepen things up a bit. Then I'm going to pick up my favorite shade from this whole palette, and this is called Nars, and it's a beautiful cherry red shade. And I'm using that same MAC 217 brush to pack the color onto my outer corner and then blend it inwards, as well as kind of flicking the shadow outwards to create a winged effect. I do want the color to be darkest on the outer corner, but I'm still making sure to blend it as well so that it creates a nice gradient effect. And because this shade is super pigmented, I'm trying to keep this pretty low on my crease and making sure that I'm not taking it too high, because I don't want it to cover up any of the other transition shades that we've applied to the crease. Then I'm going to take the shade Blanc by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going to use this as the brow bone highlight, and I'm applying it to my brow bone area using my MAC 239 brush. Then I'm going to take the shade Aphrodite, and this is a really warm, deep brown shade, and I'm applying it to the very outer corner of my eye in a V shape using my MAC 219 pencil brush. And this is going to really help deepen up the outer corner. And then I'm using my Sigma E38 diffused crease brush to blend that all together. And I thought I would also mention that this is a clean brush, so there's no additional product on it. I'm just using it to blend. And then I'm going to pick up my NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk, and I'm going to use this as a base for the all over lid color. And I'm applying it very low on the lid and then just using my finger to blend it a bit upwards. And this is going to really help brighten the shadow that we're putting on top of it, which is the shade Luna. And I'm going to spritz my MAC 242 before I apply this, because this is a foiled shadow, so this is going to really help it stand out. And I'm just patting that onto my lids, and I'm going to actually take the edge of this brush to cut my crease as well, because although this isn't a cut crease look, I am going to take this shade slightly above my natural crease, because I do have hooded lids and I really want to be able to see this shade. Then once we're done applying the lid color, I'm going to go back in with the Sigma E35 and a little tiny bit of the Chickadee shade and just kind of blend everything out to make it look more soft focused and diffused. And then I'm going to do a winged liner. So I'm going to use my Inglot 77 gel liner and my Sigma E06 brush to apply it. And I'm just carving out my wing, and I'm going to do a pretty dramatic wing here. So I'm just going to make sure that I am tapering it off and making it more thin as I'm coming in towards the inner corner of my eye. And even though I felt like this look could be done without the winged liner, I really felt like winged liner kind of pulled this whole look together and made it look more appropriate for a night out, or just kind of added some drama to the look, which I really liked. Then before I finish up the eyes, I'm going to do some highlighting and concealing using my Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard, and I'm applying it to my under eyes in a triangular shape, down the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, underneath my bottom lip, and also my cupid's bow and some areas that I have some hyperpigmentation. And then I'm going to take my dampened beauty blender and blend that all out, and I'm actually going to use the tip of that beauty blender, the pointed edge, to kind of clean up underneath my wing, because I don't want any shadow or fallout from the shadow to be below the wing. I do want the wing to look nice and sharp, so I definitely want to clean that up using a little bit of that concealer and my beauty blender. Then I'm going to go ahead and set the areas where I've applied concealer using my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder and a Morphe E48 brush. And I'm just kind of patting that setting powder on top of areas as well that I tend to get a little bit more oily. I'm not baking or anything like that, but this is just going to set everything in place and make sure that nothing gets creasy or weird. And then I'm going to take my giant powder brush, and this is by It Brushes for Ulta, and I'm applying a little bit more of that loose translucent powder all over the rest of my face to set my foundation as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the eyes, and I'm using my MAC pencil brush again to apply the shade Mars to my lower lash line, and then taking my Sigma E45, which is a small tapered blending brush, and applying the shade Chickadee right below that to kind of mimic that gradient effect that we have going on in the crease. Then I'm going to take my Sigma E21 smudge brush and apply the shade Aphrodite very, very close to the outer third of my lower lash line. Then I'm going to pick up my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Perversion, and I'm using this to line my waterline. Then I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara, and I'm using my favorite mascara, which is the Buxom Lash Mascara. And I have to say, I love this mascara because this is one of the few mascaras that doesn't kind of flake off throughout the day as I'm wearing it, and so I don't get those little black dots that end up like on my cheeks or on my under eyes. Then lastly, for the eyes, I'm going to highlight my inner corner using the shade Artemis and applying it with a Real Techniques detailer brush. Then I'm going to pick up this middle shade from the Fiona Stiles Sheer Sculpting palette, and I'm going to do some contouring, and I'm using my Nars Ita brush to contour today. And I'm going directly below where my cheekbone is to really get that sculpted look. Then from that same palette, I'm going to pick up the lightest shade, and I'm going to do some nose contouring, and I'm using the same Nars Ita brush for that. And then I'm going to take my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Give Me Sun and kind of warm up my skin, and this will actually help blend out my contour as well, and I'm using my MAC 135 brush to apply it. Then taking my Morphe E48 brush, I'm going to run a little bit of translucent powder underneath my contour to clean it up a bit. For blush, I'm going to be using the shade Easy from the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani blush palette, and I'm applying it to my cheeks, the apples of my cheeks, using my It for Ulta Flawless blush brush. Then for my favorite part of every makeup look, I'm going to do some highlighting using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Gleam Glow Kit, and I'm mixing Hard Candy and Mimosa from that palette and applying it to the tops of my cheeks, and I'm going to then go over it using Crushed Pearl to really brighten it up, and I'm using a It for Ulta fan brush to apply it. And then I'm also going to go down the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose, as well as my Cupid's bow, using Crushed Pearl. Then moving on to the lips, I'm going to be lining them using one of my favorite lip pencils of all time, which is Whirl by MAC. And I love this pencil so much because I feel like it's super versatile. It goes with a ton of different lipsticks that I personally own, so it definitely gets a lot of use. And for lips, I'm going to be using a combination of 2 different shades to create a ombre effect. And first, I'm going to be applying the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the shade Veronica. Then I'm going to use a slightly lighter shade and apply it to the center of my lips. And I'm using the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Bone Arrow. And I'm applying it to my bottom lip and then pressing my lips together to blend. Then I'm going to set my makeup in place using my MAC Fix Plus, and this look is complete. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much for the support. You guys are amazing, and I will see you guys on my next video.